You didn't arrive here by accident. Something deep inside of you brought you to this moment. Maybe a silent ache, maybe a question you couldn't answer, or maybe just the quiet exhaustion that no one around you sees. Your body might be still, lying down, but your soul is heavy. It's not just physical tiredness, it's something deeper, a weight in your chest, a fog in your thoughts, a longing for peace you can't explain. You've been carrying responsibilities, expectations, and silent battles all day. You smiled when you didn't feel like it. You pushed through when you wanted to stop. You answered questions, solved problems, and held yourself together even when it felt like you were falling apart inside. And now, when everything gets quiet, all those invisible burdens rise to the surface. The silence of the night becomes loud with thoughts, regrets, fears, and questions that never found space during the day. But listen, this is not the end of your strength. It's the beginning of your restoration. Right here in this moment, God sees you, not the version you show to the world, but the one that cries silently, that hopes secretly, that longs for relief. He doesn't wait for you to have it all figured out. He comes close right now just as you are, tired, vulnerable, needing rest. Let these words be a shelter for you tonight. Let them slow your racing heart and quiet your anxious thoughts. You don't have to fight anymore, at least not tonight. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to breathe deeply. You are allowed to be human and still be deeply loved by the Creator of the universe. So breathe. Close your eyes if you need to. And let your heart hear this truth. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. And your tired soul is precious to God. He does not despise your weakness. He embraces it. He does not walk away from your pain. He walks toward it. If these words are touching something real inside of you, pause for a moment and respond. In the comments, write this declaration of faith. God, I give you my tired soul. Take over. Your words matter. Your faith, even tired, moves the heart of God. And when you speak, something begins to shift. Let this be your first step into rest. It's late. The world outside is quiet, but your mind isn't. While the night tries to offer silence, all you can hear are your thoughts, spinning, racing, imagining every possible scenario that could go wrong tomorrow. You've been here before, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, hoping that sleep would come quickly, but instead, fear knocks on the door of your heart. Maybe it's a decision you have to make. Maybe it's a conversation you've been avoiding. Or maybe it's just the uncertainty, the not knowing what will happen next. Tomorrow feels like a storm you're not ready to face. The weight of responsibilities, the possibility of failure, the fear of not being enough. It all becomes louder when the lights go off. And yet here's the truth. God is already in your tomorrow. He's not limited by time the way we are. He sees what's coming and he's not surprised or unprepared. While you're lying awake, worried about how to hold everything together, he's already working things out behind the scenes. He doesn't need you to have control. He's asking you to let go. Worry pretends to protect us, but it only drains our strength. Fear feels like preparation, but it robs us of peace. The future isn't yours to carry tonight. It was never meant to be. That's why Jesus said, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself." He wasn't asking you to be reckless. He was inviting you to trust. Breathe in that truth. Let it settle deep. God is not only beside your bed right now, He's already walking ahead of you into the next day. He's already placing favor where you need it. He's already calming storms you can't see yet. He's already softening hearts, opening doors, and preparing blessings you haven't even imagined. So, instead of rehearsing what could go wrong, begin to rest in what is already right. God's presence with you now, and His promise to be with you then. You don't have to perform for tomorrow. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't need to figure everything out tonight. What you need is rest. Peace doesn't come from having control. Peace comes from knowing who is in control. Let God hold what you can't. Let Him take the fear and turn it into quiet trust. The night was made for rest, not fear, and even if tomorrow comes with challenges, you won't face them alone. The same God who carried you through today, even with all its difficulties, is already waiting for you in the morning. It's strange how silence can be so loud, especially when you're surrounded by people. Maybe there are voices in the other room, the sounds of life continuing as usual. Family, footsteps, laughter, television in the background. And yet inside you, there's an ache that no one seems to notice. It's not that others don't care. It's just that they don't see the depth of what you carry. You're present but not fully seen. You're heard but not fully understood. You give, you support, you show up. But when it's your turn to need something, you're not sure where to turn. You scroll through your contacts and can't think of anyone you could really open up to. You sit at dinner, join conversations, but deep down, you feel like a stranger. Even in your own home, even in your own skin. And the question echoes in your heart. Why do I feel so alone when I'm not actually alone? Loneliness doesn't always mean physical isolation. Sometimes it's the soul's cry for deeper connection, with others, with purpose, with God. And maybe tonight that ache brought you here. Maybe your soul is tired of smiling when your heart is breaking. Maybe you're longing for a place where you can be fully known and still fully loved. And that's exactly what God offers you tonight. Not a quick fix, not a superficial distraction, but a sacred space where you can be real, where your emotions are not too much, where your questions are not too big, where your silence is heard. He doesn't need you to perform. He just wants you present. He knows the unspoken thoughts, the unshed tears, the longing for someone to truly understand. And He draws near, not to fix you but to be with you, even if no one knocked on your door today, even if your phone stayed quiet. Heaven noticed you. God sees you. The shepherd leaves the 99 just to come close to the one that feels lost. That's how deeply He values your heart. So tonight, let Him fill the spaces that feel empty. Let Him meet you in the room where no one else understands. You don't have to keep pretending. You don't have to hide your loneliness behind strength. You are loved, not because you are surrounded, but because He has chosen to call you His. There's healing in being honest. There's comfort in knowing that God doesn't wait for a crowd to love you. He's always been personal, always close, always enough. Let your soul exhale. Even in a full house, you are never truly alone, not when God is near. Some wounds don't bleed, but they still hurt. And sometimes the most exhausting part of the day isn't what you did, it's what you felt. The words you didn't expect to hear, the look that made you feel small, the disappointment that settled in after you tried your best, and it still wasn't enough. Maybe today brought conflict. Maybe it reminded you of past pain, or maybe it simply left you feeling invisible. Even now, lying in bed, your body may be still, but your heart is replaying everything. The moment someone hurt you, the moment you blamed yourself, the moment you pretended it didn't matter. You're trying to convince yourself to let it go, but it clings to your thoughts like a shadow that follows even in the dark. God sees that. He doesn't minimize your pain, He doesn't expect you to be unaffected, and He doesn't rush your process. In fact, He sits with you in the ache. He's not waiting for you to get over it. He's ready to walk with you through it. His healing doesn't always come like lightning. Sometimes it comes like a gentle hand placed over a bruised soul, whispering, "I know. I saw. I'm here." There's no shame in feeling pain. There's no weakness in being affected by the day. You're not broken for being sensitive. You're human. But you don't have to carry this pain into your dreams. You don't have to sleep with the same sorrow you've carried all day. This night can be different. Not because the past didn't happen, but because God is stepping into your present with healing. Breathe in slowly. Let go of the self-blame. Lay down the anger. Release the disappointment. Even if you don't know how to move forward, you can choose right now to stop walking alone. You can whisper a prayer even if it's messy. You can cry without explaining yourself. You can exhale, knowing that the one who created your soul also knows how to restore it. Let Him hold your heart tonight. Let Him remind you that this pain, though real, is not the final chapter. There will be joy again. There will be strength again. But for now, let rest be the beginning. Let your bed be the place where the healing starts, and let God be the one who carries what you no longer can. Because the pain of today is not greater than the love that holds you now. You've tried. You turned off the lights. You put the phone away. You laid your head on the pillow hoping for silence. But instead your heart won't settle. There's a pressure in your chest that has no name. Thoughts swirl like a storm you can't quiet. You shift positions, trying to find peace. But the real discomfort isn't in your body. It's in your soul. Restlessness isn't just about racing thoughts. It's about emotions that have nowhere to land. Maybe it's regret. Maybe it's uncertainty. Maybe it's a quiet sadness that crept in when no one was looking. Whatever it is, it's keeping you awake. And no routine can quiet what only God can reach. This is where prayer becomes more than words. It becomes breath, a way of letting go. A sacred moment where you stop pretending to be fine and allow yourself to simply be tired, unsure, vulnerable. God isn't waiting for a perfect version of you to show up. He's already here, whispering, "Let me carry what you can't." He sees the racing thoughts. He hears the unspoken fears. He understands the ache that even you can't fully explain. And His promise still stands. "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This is not poetic. It's a divine offer, a trade. Your restlessness for His peace, your worries for His care. So tonight, stop fighting the storm in your chest. You don't have to figure everything out before sleeping. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to surrender. Say this out loud if you can, or whisper it in your heart. "God, my heart is restless, but I give it to you. Calm me, hold me, let me rest in you tonight." And if you're still holding on to something, a thought, a memory, a fear, write it in the comments as a way of releasing it. Let this be more than a video. Let it be your prayer. Type these words below and declare it. "I surrender my restlessness to you, God. Take over." Your act of faith can become the moment of breakthrough. When you speak, heaven responds. And when you let go, God steps in. This is not just the end of your day. It's the beginning of peace, real peace. The kind that reaches into the chaos and says, "Be still." Let that be your story tonight. There is something sacred about beginning the night with this ancient promise. These words, written by David in Psalm 23:1, still echo through time. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." In other words, the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. This is more than a poetic phrase. It's a declaration, a soul-level reminder that no matter what this day has taken from you, the shepherd has never left your side. You are not navigating this life alone. The one who created you is also the one who guides you, protects you, and provides for you. Like a shepherd who watches over his sheep through the darkest valleys and quietest hills. Tonight you may feel like something's missing. Maybe it's peace. Maybe it's clarity. Maybe it's the energy to keep going. But David's words were not written in a season of abundance. They were written by someone who had experienced pain, betrayal, and wilderness, and still could say, "I lack nothing." Why? Because the presence of the shepherd changes everything. The sheep don't worry about tomorrow's path. They trust the shepherd's lead. They don't fight to earn safety. They rest in the nearness of the one who defends them. And just like them, you don't need to carry the pressure of having it all figured out. You are not required to solve everything before morning comes. You are simply invited to rest, not in what you see, but in who is with you. To say, "I shall not want," is to believe that God is enough, even when life is uncertain. It means that even if the day was hard and the night feels heavy, you are not empty. His love still fills, His grace still flows, His presence still surrounds. So tonight, let go of the belief that you are lacking. Release the idea that something must change before you can rest. The shepherd is here. He has not forgotten you, and because He is with you, you are not missing anything that truly matters. You are safe, you are seen, and in the arms of your shepherd, you lack nothing. There's something profoundly gentle in the words of Psalm 23 verse 2, "He makes me lie down in green pastures." It's not a command shouted from a distance. It's an invitation whispered by a shepherd who knows exactly what your soul needs tonight. Rest. To lie down in green pastures is not just about physical stillness. It's about inner surrender. It's about being led away from noise, from pressure, from the demands of life, into a place of softness, slowness, and calm. And maybe that's what your heart has been longing for all along. God doesn't drive you like a taskmaster. He leads you like a shepherd. He knows when your soul is tired. He sees when your thoughts won't slow down. And even when you resist rest, staying busy to avoid what hurts, He patiently guides you back to peace. Green pastures aren't always physical places. Sometimes they're moments, like this one. A moment in the night where you pause long enough to breathe. A space where the noise of the world begins to fade, and the voice of the shepherd becomes clear again. A space where calm doesn't come from everything being perfect, but from knowing that you're not alone in the imperfection. Maybe today you walked through tension. Maybe your heart is carrying emotions you haven't spoken out loud. Maybe you're trying to solve things that are too heavy for one person to hold. And God, in His kindness, is saying, "Lie down, my child. Let me bring calm to your chaos. Let me hold you where you can't hold yourself." He doesn't rush you. He doesn't shame you for feeling overwhelmed. He simply leads you to a place of peace again and again every time you're ready to follow. And even now, as you listen to these words, something within you may be softening. That's His presence. That's His peace. That's your green pasture. Right here, in the middle of your room, in the middle of your need. Let this moment be your surrender. Let this night be your rest. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to prove you deserve it. The shepherd makes you lie down because he loves you, and because he knows calm is not a luxury, it's a necessity. So breathe deep. Let your heart settle and know he is here. He brings calm, and he leads you to rest. There is a quiet power in the words of Psalm 23:3. He restores my soul. Not, he restored as if it happened once and never again. Not he might restore as if it were uncertain. But he restores, tonight, right now, in this very moment. It's what he does. It's who he is. Restoration is not just about fixing what's broken. It's about breathing life back into what's been worn down. And if you're honest, maybe your soul feels worn tonight. Not shattered, just tired, frayed around the edges, pressed by worry, stretched by responsibility, bruised by words or moments that left a mark during the day. You've made it through, but not without cost. And now, in the stillness of the night, your heart is whispering a quiet prayer. God, I need you to put me back together. This kind of healing can't be rushed. It doesn't happen in the noise. It begins in stillness. The kind of stillness that invites you to stop performing, stop pretending, and simply be in the presence of the one who knows how to restore every part of you. He doesn't just restore your strength. He restores your identity, reminding you that you are not your failures, not your fatigue, not your fear. He restores your hope, breathing life into dreams that feel distant or crushed. He restores your peace, silencing the voices that keep you anxious and restless. And he does all of this gently, lovingly, without force. Tonight, God wants to restore what the day has drained, the emotions that overwhelmed you, the thoughts that wore you down, the inner battles no one else could see. He knows them all, and still chooses to draw near. Picture him as the shepherd who kneels beside you while you lie in bed, placing his hand over your heart, not rushing, not lecturing, just healing, just being present. And in his presence, things begin to shift, not always externally, but internally where it matters most. You don't have to explain your pain to be healed. You just have to bring it to him. You don't have to find the words. He understands your silence. All he asks is that you let him in. Let this night be sacred. Let this rest be holy. Let this moment be the start of inner restoration that your soul has been longing for, because he restores your soul, and he's ready to begin right now. Some nights feel heavier than others, not because of what's around you, but because of what's inside you. The shadows that try to creep into your thoughts, the silence that echoes with memories or fears, the questions that don't seem to have answers. And yet, David's words in Psalm 23:4 bring a light into the darkest places. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. This verse doesn't promise the absence of dark valleys. It promises that you won't walk through them alone. God never said you would avoid pain. He said he would be present in it. He never said there wouldn't be moments of confusion, loss, or heartache. But he did say, I will be with you. And his presence makes all the difference. You might not be in a literal valley tonight, but maybe your soul feels like it. Maybe it's the weight of grief you don't talk about, the fear of a diagnosis, the echo of rejection, the anxiety that something might go wrong, or the dread that something already has. But read that first word again. Even though, not if, not maybe. It's a certainty. Dark valleys come. But so does his presence, and that changes everything. You're walking through it, not stuck in it. The valley is not your home. It's a passage, not a prison. And in the middle of it, you are not abandoned. God doesn't wait on the other side. He walks beside you. He sees in the dark. He speaks in the silence. He holds your hand even when you can't feel it. Fear loses its grip when you realize who is with you. Not just a comforting idea, but the shepherd himself, the one who created light and has power over every shadow, the one who speaks peace into storms and strength into the weak. So tonight, as shadows try to rise, let this be your declaration. I will not fear. Not because the valley isn't real, but because God is more real than what surrounds you. Close your eyes if you can. Feel the rhythm of your breath. Imagine the shepherd walking beside you, his presence stronger than the darkness. And let peace replace the fear. Let courage rise where panic once lived. You may still be walking through a valley, but you are walking with the God who never leaves, and with Him by your side. You will not fear. In the same verse where David walks through the valley of the shadow of death, he writes something unexpected, something powerful. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. It's not the absence of danger that brings peace, it's the presence of divine protection. The rod and staff were tools used by shepherds in ancient times, not only to guide the sheep but to defend them. The rod was for protection, to strike down anything that threatened the flock. The staff was for correction and support, gently pulling sheep back when they drifted too far. Both were symbols of the shepherd's constant attention and care. That's what David clung to in the darkness, not just God's nearness, but his active defense. He didn't just walk with the sheep, he fought for them. And maybe tonight that's what your soul needs to hear. Yes, the night can feel long. Yes, shadows might still whisper. Yes, the mind might still wander. But you are not defenseless. The shepherd who watches over you is not passive. He's not distant. He's not asleep. He is vigilant. He is fierce in his love, and he is fighting for your peace right now. That's why you can rest. That's why your bed can become a sanctuary, not because life is perfect, but because God is present, rod in hand, staff in reach, standing guard over your soul. He sees what you can't see. He protects you from what you didn't even know was coming. He corrects you when you drift, not to punish you, but to lead you back to safety. And tonight in the stillness, you are not alone. You are covered. So if fear tries to creep in, if anxiety whispers again, speak this truth out loud. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. I am protected. I am safe. Let that truth become your shield. Let it cover your mind and heart like a blanket of peace. And if these words brought you comfort, take a moment to make this your act of faith. In the comments write, God, thank you for protecting me while I sleep. When you speak it, you plant it. And what you plant in faith tonight, God will grow into strength tomorrow. Let the shepherd fight for your rest. Let his rod and staff surround you. And let your soul be still, because divine protection is over you even now. There is something profoundly defiant and deeply comforting in the words of Psalm 23 verse 5. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Not in their absence, not after they leave, right there, in the face of trouble. This is not the kind of peace that comes from escaping conflict. This is the kind of peace that stands its ground. A peace that refuses to be shaken by what surrounds it. A peace that comes from a shepherd who is not intimidated by anything that threatens you. God prepares a table, not a hiding place, not a temporary shelter. A table, a place of abundance, stability, and communion. In the ancient world, a table was a symbol of honor and provision. You didn't sit at a table unless you were welcome, unless you belonged. So when God says he prepares a table for you, even in the presence of enemies, he's saying, you are mine. You are not defined by what's coming against you. Sit down, eat, rest. I will handle the rest. Tonight maybe you feel surrounded, not by physical enemies, but by worry, pressure, opposition, or inner battles. And God is not asking you to fight harder. He's asking you to sit at his table, to let him serve you peace, to let him nourish your soul, to let him speak identity and strength over you while the noise rages on outside. It takes trust to eat in the presence of trouble. It takes faith to receive joy while fear is still near. But that's what makes this table so powerful. You're not eating alone. The shepherd is with you, and he's not stressed. He's not panicking. He's preparing, providing, protecting. Let that image sink in tonight. A table is being set right in the middle of everything you feared would destroy you. And instead of fear consuming you, you are being filled. God doesn't just remove enemies. Sometimes he blesses you in front of them. He restores your dignity where it was lost. He lifts your head where it was bowed. And he reminds you, you are not a victim. You are a guest of the King, so sit down even if your heart is still racing. Receive. Even if trouble still lingers at the edges, you are safe here. You are chosen. And the table has already been prepared for you. There's a sacred intimacy in the words of Psalm 23 verse 5. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Anointing isn't about survival. It's about identity, calling, and purpose. It's something kings received, priests received, people set apart for something greater. And David says that God, the shepherd, anoints him, not in a palace, not in perfect conditions, but right there in the middle of the journey while the enemies are still watching. Maybe tonight you're not feeling chosen or strong. Maybe you're just feeling tired, exhausted, empty. But here's the mystery of God's love. He doesn't wait for you to feel worthy. He comes in the weariness, and he pours oil on your head, a symbol of healing, calling, and divine favor, to remind you that you still have purpose, even when you feel like you have nothing left to give. The oil was soothing, fragrant, restorative. In David's time, it was also a sign of belonging and protection. Shepherds would anoint the heads of their sheep to keep away irritants, insects that could cause them distress and distraction. The anointing brought peace. So when God says he anoints your head, he's not only marking you with purpose, he's protecting your mind from lies, from pressure, from fear, from every voice that tries to convince you that you are too tired, too broken, too far behind to be used. Tonight, let that truth cover your thoughts. You are not forgotten. You are not finished. You are not disqualified. You are anointed, even in your exhaustion. You are chosen, even in your weakness. And your shepherd doesn't just pour enough to get you by. He pours until your cup overflows. Overflowing doesn't mean you feel full. It means he is still pouring even when you feel empty. His grace doesn't run out when your strength does. His plans for you don't end because you had a hard day. His presence doesn't shrink when your hope does. So close your eyes and picture it now. God standing beside your bed, gently placing his hand on your forehead, pouring oil that you can't see but your spirit can feel, whispering purpose over your exhaustion, speaking identity over your insecurity, reminding you, you still belong to me, I'm not done with you. Even in the night, even when you're tired, even now, you are anointed. After everything this day brought, after the noise, the pressure, the tension, the moments you don't even want to revisit. Here you are, searching for peace. And God, through the voice of David in Psalm 23 verse 6, offers you something deeper than peace. He offers you a promise. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. Not maybe, not hopefully, surely. That one word changes everything. It silences doubt. It calms the heart. It tells your tired soul that you are not chasing after goodness. Goodness is chasing after you. God's goodness doesn't expire at sunset. His mercy doesn't run out after one bad day. They follow you, not just when you feel spiritual, not just when you succeed, but even when you stumble, even when you collapse into bed feeling like you failed, even when all you could do was make it through the day. Right now, in this quiet moment, His goodness is still with you. His mercy is still reaching for you, not to judge, not to punish, but to wrap around your soul like a warm blanket at the end of a long journey. Maybe you didn't feel it today. Maybe everything felt rushed, reactive, hard. But just because you didn't feel His goodness doesn't mean it wasn't there. It followed you through the stress. It stood behind you in every conversation. It walked into the room with you when you didn't know what to say. It lingered even when you forgot to pray. That's who God is. He's not waiting at the finish line. He's walking every step behind you, covering the parts you missed, cleaning up the messes you made, redeeming what felt wasted. And now, as the day ends, He's whispering, "Let my goodness catch up with you. Let my mercy hold what you dropped. Let my peace settle over the parts of you that still feel unsettled." You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to deserve peace. You simply have to receive what's already been following you. Breathe that in. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. And even in your silence, you are being pursued by goodness. So let the chaos of the day fade. Let the regrets go quiet. Let the thoughts slow down. And let His goodness finally reach your heart. Because the shepherd doesn't stop when the sun sets. He follows you. Even here, even now, even tonight. Psalm 23 ends not with uncertainty, but with confidence, with the quiet, unshakable assurance of someone who knows exactly where they belong. David writes in verse 6, "And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." Not visit, not pass through, dwell. To dwell means to remain, to settle in, to find home. And that's the promise God gives you tonight. Not just temporary comfort, not just fleeting moments of peace, but a place where you belong, a place where you are always welcome, a place where your soul is safe. After a long, hard day, maybe your heart is tired of running from pressure, from shame, from the past, from fear. And maybe all you've ever wanted is a space where you could simply be, not judged, not rushed, just held. That's what the house of the Lord is. It's not just a future destination, it's a present reality. Wherever His presence is, that is home. And His presence is right here, in this moment, in this room, with you. You don't have to wait for heaven to feel secure. You don't have to wait for everything to be perfect to be accepted. The shepherd is offering His presence now, not as a reward for your strength, but as shelter for your weakness. Let this truth be the final word over your night. You are not wandering. You are not lost. You are not without a place. You dwell in the house of the Lord. You rest under His roof. You sleep under His covering. You belong in His presence, and nothing can separate you from it. No fear can cancel your access. No mistake can revoke your invitation. No night is too dark for His presence to reach you. So as your eyes grow heavy, let your spirit settle in. You are not drifting in the dark. You are safe. You are home. You are in the care of the one who has watched over your every step and who will stay through the night. Let go now, not in defeat, but in surrender. You don't have to keep searching. You've found the place you've been longing for, and the door is always open. You will dwell in the house of the Lord forever, and tonight is just the beginning. Speak this truth out loud or whisper it in your heart. Tonight, I lack nothing, because the shepherd watches over me. Let these words become more than just a phrase. Let them become your shield, your resting place, your confession of faith. Because when you say, I lack nothing, you are not denying your struggles. You are declaring that God's presence is greater than your need. You may not have all the answers. You may not see the full path, but you are not alone on the journey. The shepherd is near, watching, guarding, providing. Tonight, your value is not measured by how much you achieved. Your security is not built on how much you control. Your worth is not found in the approval of others. Your peace is not tied to your circumstances. It is found in who is with you. The Lord is your shepherd, the one who leads with love, who covers you with mercy, who walks before and behind you, the one who knows your name, your fears, your thoughts, and still says, you are mine. And because he is with you, you lack no comfort, you lack no strength, you lack no hope, you lack no purpose, you lack no love. Even if you don't feel it yet, speak it. Let faith rise above feelings. Let this declaration be the voice that drowns out every whisper of fear or inadequacy. Say it again. Tonight I lack nothing. Because his provision surrounds you, because his presence protects you, because his peace covers you. And now take a step of bold faith. In the comments write, I lack nothing. The shepherd is with me tonight. Make this your public declaration. Let it become a testimony. Your words have power. And this simple act of faith may become someone else's breakthrough. When you write it, you're not just reminding yourself. You're reminding the darkness that it doesn't win. Let this be the night you stop agreeing with fear and start agreeing with the shepherd. You lack nothing because he is everything. Say it slowly and let the words sink deep into your soul. No darkness will overcome me. The Lord walks beside me. There are moments in life when darkness feels overwhelming. Not just the absence of light around you, but the weight of confusion, fear, anxiety, and emotional fatigue. It sneaks in during quiet hours, disguising itself as memories, regrets, or the fear of what's to come. But tonight, you speak something stronger, a declaration of faith. Because your hope is not based on whether the night is easy. It's based on the unshakable truth that God is with you, and where he walks, no shadow can take control. Psalm 23:4 reminds us, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Not after the valley, not before the valley, but through it, which means God isn't waiting on the other side. He is walking beside you right now. So even if your thoughts feel heavy, even if you've been holding back tears, even if fear tried to take root in your heart, you can speak this truth in defiance of the darkness. I will not be overcome, because it's not your strength that protects you. It's his presence. It's not your plans that bring peace. It's his companionship. It's not your performance that wins the battle. It's his faithfulness that never leaves your side. The shepherd walks beside you with peace that calms storms, with love that silences shame, with power that extinguishes fear. His light is not a flicker. It's a flame that never dies, even in your darkest hour. So tonight, you don't have to be afraid of what you feel. You don't have to pretend you're strong. You don't have to chase away the darkness on your own. You simply have to walk, knowing you're not walking alone. And even if the darkness tries to speak louder, let your soul speak louder still. No darkness will overcome me. The Lord walks beside me. Say it again. Whisper it if you must. Shout it in your heart if you need to. This is your reality now. You are not alone. You are not powerless. And you are not walking in circles. You are walking with purpose beside the King of Peace. Tonight, speak it with authority, not as a wish but as a declaration. I declare peace over my mind, my heart, and my home. You are not a victim of chaos. You are not helpless in the face of anxiety or fear. You are a child of God, and you have the power to speak peace where there has been tension, to invite calm where there has been noise, to establish spiritual rest where there has been warfare. Your mind may have been spinning all day, replaying conversations, worrying about the future, drowning in to-do lists. But peace is not found in resolving every thought. It's found in surrendering them. Right now, breathe in slowly and release every mental burden to God. Let peace begin there. Your heart may feel heavy, full of emotions that don't make sense or wounds that haven't healed. But peace doesn't require perfection. It begins with presence, the presence of a shepherd who draws near to the brokenhearted. Let him whisper over your heart tonight, you are safe. You are loved. You are not alone. And your home, the space around you, is more than walls and furniture. It's the atmosphere your soul sleeps in. Maybe there's been conflict, maybe there's been distance or silence. But now you draw a line in the spiritual, and you say, peace lives here. Not just because the noise stops, but because God is welcomed in. His Spirit brings peace that can't be shaken by what's happening outside. His peace fills the corners that anxiety tries to invade. Tonight, you're not asking for peace, you're declaring it. You're aligning your environment with the truth of God's promises. You have authority in Christ to silence every lie, to calm every storm, and to set the atmosphere of your sleep. You don't have to earn that authority. It was given to you. Use it. Say it again. I declare peace over my mind, heart, and home. Let this be your anthem in the dark. Let it carry you into rest. Let it protect your dreams. Let it welcome the presence of God in every corner of your being. Peace is not passive. It's not weak. It's not distant. Peace is powerful, and it is yours tonight. Tonight, speak this boldly, not from emotion but from spiritual truth. Angels are guarding my rest and silencing every fear. You may not see them, you may not hear them, but the word of God is clear. He commands his angels concerning you. Psalm 91:11 says, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." This is not fantasy. This is divine protection. While the world sleeps unaware, heaven remains awake, fully alert, fully present, fully active. The same God who created you has assigned his angels to watch over you. You are not exposed. You are not vulnerable. You are covered. Every room in your home, every corner of your bed, every space where fear tries to enter, heaven has posted guards, not because you're perfect, not because you said all the right prayers, but because God loves you, and he defends what he loves. Fear has no access to your mind tonight. Anxiety has no power over your dreams. The spiritual attacks that once disrupted your peace are met by heavenly resistance. Even now, as you breathe in and begin to rest, you can ask God to surround you with angelic presence, to encamp around your home, to guard your thoughts, to establish calm in the spiritual atmosphere of your night. And they come, they always come, because when God's children rest, heaven goes to war against fear. Let this truth sink into your bones. You are not sleeping alone. You are not unguarded. You are not weak as a night. The shepherd is near, and his angels stand watch. Every whisper of fear that rises in your mind is being silenced. Every dark thought that tries to invade your rest is being pushed back. Every spiritual disturbance is being overruled by the authority of Jesus and the obedience of angelic warriors. So tonight, instead of bracing yourself for rest, surrender into it. Instead of staying alert in fear, close your eyes in faith. Instead of asking, "What if something happens?" and declare, "Nothing will shake me, because heaven is standing guard." You don't have to see them to believe. You don't have to feel them to know. You can rest fully because you are protected from all sides. Angels are guarding your rest, and they are silencing every fear. Tonight, let this be your final word before closing your eyes. My sleep will be deep and healing. God restores my soul. You were not created to lie awake with a racing mind. You were not designed to carry the weight of the day into your dreams. Sleep was given by God as a gift, not as a struggle. And when the shepherd watches over you, rest becomes more than physical. It becomes spiritual restoration. Psalm 127:2 says, "He gives his beloved sleep." Not restless tossing, not anxious drifting, real sleep, the kind that reaches into your soul and renews what was broken. Your body may feel weak, your thoughts may still feel unsettled, but there is a place of peace deeper than both, a space where God meets you in the quiet and begins to heal what no one else can touch. While the world shuts down for the night, heaven stays awake to work on your behalf. As you sleep, God is restoring what the day drained. He's repairing your strength. He's calming your nervous system. He's healing your emotions. He's tending to every invisible wound. This is not just rest. This is recovery. God created sleep as a rhythm of grace, a holy pause, a sacred reset. And the deeper your surrender, the deeper the healing. Not because your problems vanish overnight, but because you stop carrying them alone. When you finally stop resisting rest, you begin to receive it. So declare it over yourself. My sleep will be deep. My sleep will be healing. God restores my soul tonight, as I let go, as I breathe, as I surrender. There's no need to fight your way into rest. No need to scroll until you pass out. No need to rehearse the day over and over. Your soul is safe now. Your body is allowed to relax, and your spirit is free to release. God is not only giving you rest, He is doing something within you while you sleep. Dreams will be peaceful. Tension will release. Healing will begin. Deep, silent, divine. Because the shepherd who walked with you through the day is the same one restoring you through the night. You can let go now. You're in good hands. You've made it to this moment. The lights are low. The world is quiet. But inside, there are still weights you carry. Not the kind anyone can see, not the kind you talk about openly. These are the invisible burdens, the ones that cling to your chest and hide behind your smile, the overthinking, the guilt, the pressure to fix everything, the fear of what could go wrong tomorrow. And yet, here is the invitation. Let go before sleep. Tonight, let go of what you couldn't control. Let go of what you can't change. Let go of what people said or didn't say. Let go of the need to have it all together. Because rest begins where control ends. In 1 Peter 5:7, God says, "Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you." Not just some of it, not just what you've already talked about in prayer, all of it. Even the pieces you don't know how to describe. Even the emotions you've tried to ignore. Even the thoughts you've hidden from everyone else. Lay them down, not neatly, not perfectly, just honestly. Say it out loud or whisper it if you need to. God, I give you this burden. I give you the weight I wasn't made to carry. I trust you with what I can't fix. This is not weakness. This is worship. This is surrender. And when you release your burdens, you make room to receive His peace. You create space in your soul for rest to settle in, and that's when sleep becomes sacred. Before you close your eyes tonight, take one more step. In the comments, write this simple act of faith. God, I release what I cannot carry. Let your words be a symbol of surrender. Let them speak louder than your fears. Because something happens when you stop hiding the burden and hand it over instead. The God who carried the cross is not intimidated by your weight. He welcomes it, He absorbs it, and He replaces it with a stillness the world can't offer. Tonight is not just about sleep, it's about freedom. Let go, fully, and let God carry what was never yours to keep. Some nights the loudest sounds aren't outside, they're within. Your room may be silent, but inside your mind there's a storm. Unfinished conversations, unanswered questions, unresolved emotions, a whirlwind of thoughts that refuse to rest. This is what we call inner noise, and it's often louder than anything the world could say. It's the voice of fear, reminding you of what could go wrong. The voice of regret, replaying what you wish you did differently. The voice of pressure, pushing you to fix everything before the morning, and sometimes even the voice of silence, making you feel forgotten. But there's another voice, a still small whisper, steady, kind and powerful. It doesn't shout for attention, it doesn't compete, it waits. The voice of God. In 1 Kings 19, God didn't come to Elijah in the wind or the earthquake or the fire. He came in a whisper. Because God's voice doesn't need to be loud to be true. It only needs to be heard, in the quiet spaces of your heart, where faith begins to rise. Tonight, your soul is invited into stillness. Not the kind that demands perfection, but the kind that makes room for peace. And in that stillness, God speaks. He whispers comfort. You are safe. He whispers identity. You are mine. He whispers hope. I'm not done with you. He whispers presence. I'm here even now. But to hear that whisper, you must lower the volume of everything else. You must be willing to pause the noise, not control it, not defeat it, just pause it. So tonight, as you prepare for sleep, ask this simple prayer. God, quiet every voice that isn't yours. Let me hear you. Then breathe and listen. You may not hear an audible voice, but you'll feel the shift in your spirit, in your breathing, in the way your body softens, in the way your heart feels held. This is how peace comes, not with explosions of clarity, but with quiet reminders that you are not alone and that heaven is near. So let the noise fade, let the fears fade, let the pressure fade, and let the whisper of God wrap around your soul like a gentle blanket, pulling you out of restlessness and into reassurance. The shepherd is speaking tonight, and if you'll listen, his whisper will become the loudest truth in your heart. You've done what you could. You showed up. You tried to hold everything together. You carried more than anyone knows, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. But as the day comes to a close, a sacred truth rises gently above the pressure. You don't have to fix everything today. It's okay to stop. It's okay to let go. It's okay to leave some things unfinished, because God is still working. You were never meant to carry the full weight of every outcome. You were never meant to have all the answers. You were never meant to play the role of savior in your own story. Sometimes the most powerful step of faith is not doing more. It's resting in the fact that He is still doing what you can't. God doesn't clock out. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't forget. And just because the world turns off its lights doesn't mean heaven stops moving on your behalf. Philippians 1:6 reminds us, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion." That includes the prayers you whispered today, the tears you didn't have words for, the decisions that weigh on your heart, the situations that seem impossible. You don't need to finish everything. You just need to trust the one who doesn't leave anything incomplete. Tonight, allow yourself to step out of the role of fixer, planner, solver. Let your soul exhale. Let God step in fully without resistance, not because you've failed, but because you've faithfully done your part, and now it's time to let Him do His, even while you sleep. He's speaking to hearts you can't reach. He's shifting circumstances you don't see. He's healing wounds you don't even know exist yet. He's orchestrating pieces that will fall into place at just the right moment. You may not feel it. You may not understand it. But He is moving, quietly, faithfully, powerfully. So give yourself permission to rest, to release control, to stop striving. Because the God who holds the universe also holds your story. And He doesn't need more of your effort tonight. He simply wants your trust. Rest in that. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. The room is quiet. The lights are dim. You're lying in bed, trying to slow your thoughts, trying to settle your heart. And in that stillness, God enters the room. Not as a faraway presence, not as a vague idea, but as a father, a shepherd, a friend. He doesn't knock. He doesn't announce Himself. He just sits beside you, gently, silently, fully present. No judgment in His eyes, no disappointment on His face, only love, deep, understanding, steady love. His nearness doesn't demand anything from you. He doesn't ask you to speak, to explain, or to pretend. He just sits with you, because that's what comfort does. It doesn't always fix the pain. Sometimes it simply stays until the pain softens, and slowly, without words, your breathing begins to slow. The tension in your shoulders starts to ease. The storm in your chest loses its grip, because the atmosphere has changed. Not because your circumstances shifted, but because you're no longer sitting in them alone. God is not a distant presence hovering somewhere above the sky. He is Emmanuel, God with us, with you, beside you. Now Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." So if your heart is aching, if your spirit feels crushed, He's not farther away. He's closer. You don't have to feel Him to believe He's there. Faith isn't always a feeling. Sometimes it's a choice. And tonight you get to choose to rest in that truth. God is near. So picture Him now, sitting by your bed, placing His hand gently over your heart, speaking nothing, and yet saying everything. Letting His presence wrap around your soul like a blanket of stillness. He's not in a hurry. He's not waiting for you to get over it. He's here to stay until your spirit remembers what your fear forgot. You are not alone. You are not unprotected. You are not unseen. You are being calmed, soul first. You are being loved fully. You are being watched over carefully. Let that truth settle in. God is sitting beside your bed, and your spirit is safe in His presence. Somewhere along the way, the world convinced us that rest is something we must earn, that sleep is for the weak, that slowing down means falling behind, that unless we've fixed, achieved, produced, or proven something, we don't deserve to close our eyes in peace. But that's not how God sees rest, and it's not how He designed it. Sleep is not weakness, it's not giving up, it's not avoidance, it's surrender. It's a declaration, a quiet act of trust that says, God, I don't need to stay in control tonight, because you already are. When you sleep, you are doing something sacred. You're letting go. You're stepping out of the driver's seat. You're giving your body, your mind, and your soul permission to rest. Not just because you're tired, but because you are held. Psalm 4:8 says, In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. That's what sleep really is for the believer. Not an escape, but a return to trust, a return to dependence, a return to the arms of the Father. You're not giving up, you're giving into the divine rhythm that God built into creation itself. Even Jesus, Savior of the world, slept in the middle of a storm, not because the storm wasn't real, but because His peace was stronger than the chaos. And now that same peace is offered to you. You don't need to finish the to-do list. You don't need to win every battle. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone tonight. You simply need to surrender, to allow your tired soul to be cradled in something bigger, something stronger, something eternal. So when your body pulls the blanket close, when your breathing begins to slow, let it be more than rest. Let it be worship. Because in a world that tells you to push harder, staying awake feels strong. But in the kingdom of God, resting is the sign of faith. And tonight your faith says, God, I trust you enough to stop trying. I trust you enough to close my eyes. I trust you enough to sleep, and know you'll still be working while I do. This is not weakness. This is divine surrender. This is holy rest, and it is yours right now. Take one last deep breath. Let everything within you settle, your mind, your emotions, your body. Let the truth sink in, deeper than the noise, deeper than the fear, deeper than the weight of this day. You are safe. You are loved. You are held. Right now, in this very moment, you are completely surrounded by the presence of a God who never sleeps, never forgets, and never lets go. No matter what happened today, no matter how messy your thoughts feel, no matter how uncertain tomorrow seems, you are not abandoned. You are not invisible. You are not falling apart in silence. You are being kept in perfect peace. Isaiah 26:3 says, You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. And tonight, you've chosen to trust, not by solving everything, but by surrendering, not by figuring everything out, but by resting in the one who already has. Let the stillness become holy. Let your breath become prayer. Let your bed become a sanctuary. There's nothing more to do, nothing more to prove, no more words needed. Just this: let go, lie down, receive peace, not temporary peace, not fragile peace, but perfect peace. Peace that guards your mind from overthinking, peace that holds your heart through the night, peace that stays even while you sleep. So as this prayer draws to a close, let your spirit stay open. Let the words linger long after the audio ends. Let your dreams carry whispers of heaven. And if tonight's message has brought stillness to your soul, take one last step of faith. In the comments write, I am safe, loved, and held. God is my peace. Let that be your anchor. Let it be your final word before sleep. Let it remind you, and others, that darkness never has the final say. You are safe, you are loved, you are held. Now rest in perfect peace.